My fear was coming into parasitology was could be maybe it would get boring really quickly, and I have never had a chance to be bored. It's always changing. It's very dynamic and really quite exciting.
Dr. John J. Jason Drake's veterinary career has taken an unconventional path, but like many veterinarians, his veterinary journey began at home, on a cattle ranch in Kerrville, Texas, and eventually brought him to Aggieland.
It wasn't even a question. My great-grandfather's an Aggie, my grandfather, his brothers, his sister even is an Aggie. So there was no choice about where to go to school. I started really getting interested in veterinary medicine and growing up on a cattle ranch in the hill country. And then during my undergraduate, I was working as a co-op student down at the Texas Heart Institute and worked in their research facility there. So I was exposed not just to human medicine, but also to veterinary medicine, veterinary research in that scenario, which really got me interested on the research side of things. Being at Texas A&M was just being there even in undergraduate was a really exciting, exceptional time. And then being able to spend 4 more years going through vet school, which just made it that much more special. What I didn't understand at the time is the different doors that would then open beyond, once you get out of school, how you take that education and what you can do with it.
The first place his veterinary degree took Drake was private practice, but following an opportunity to work with Novartis Animal Health, now Elanco Animal Health, Drake moved into industry, serving in several brand management and technical support roles. Today, he is Director of Scientific Marketing Affairs for Global Companion Animal Parasiticides for Merck Animal Health.
I think my favorite thing about working in the veterinary industry is there's so many opportunities to do different things. So I'm the person who's looking at all the materials, at the different studies that are available to make sure that what we want to say about the product is supported by the data that shows the safety or the efficacy or what have you about that particular product. So I make sure that what we're saying as a company, as an organization, that the materials technically are accurate. And then I also look at, from a global standpoint, we're looking at what are the issues happening around the world with parasites that's changing, and what do we expect the big issues to be 5, 10, 15 years down the road. And then I help provide that input to our research and development colleagues so that they are focusing their efforts on developing products that will be needed in the future. So we're seeing a lot of spread of parasites to new areas. We're seeing resistance emerging to existing compounds. We have to find new compounds, new formulations, and look at new ways to address those parasites for the future.
During this time, Drake continued to grow as a professional, obtaining his board certification for parasitology in 2016. He qualified for examination based entirely on his professional experience.
The biggest accomplishment at this point in my career was certainly getting boarded in veterinary parasitology. Dr. Susan Little at Oklahoma State came to me one day and she said, "You should really sit for the parasitology boards." And I looked at her, I thought she was crazy. So I was the first person to get boarded through that particular pathway in parasitology. It really happened because once I got approved to sit for boards, a lot of the parasitologists that I've been working with over the years stepped up and offered to help me prepare.
Also in 2016, Drake followed a calling to serve in the U.S. Army Reserve as a Veterinary Corps officer in the 994th Medical Detachment.
There was no boarded parasitologist in the Army Reserve, and so I thought that would be something unique I could bring. And so I decided to join, and it's been a wonderful experience. I would say 10 or 20% of what I do with the Army is taking care of military working dogs, and 80 or 90% is on the human food safety side of things. We look at everything from, again, those food manufacturing sites to looking at water samples for E. coli or other bacterial contamination issues, and even go with dairies and dairy processing, pasteurization, and things like that. So there's a wide variety of really food safety issues that we get involved in. My continued motivation is just the excitement of what's to come. Every time we get involved in these projects, you learn new things. And every small thing you might learn might not seem real impactful, but then it generally leads to something bigger over time. One of my favorite things is working with all my young soldiers. So I'm in a veterinary unit, and a lot of my soldiers are relatively new in their careers. Some of them are veterinary technicians, some have interest in becoming veterinarians, and oftentimes they come from families where they haven't necessarily had a family member who's been to college or really knows much about how to pursue those types of educational opportunities. And so I really enjoy working with those young soldiers and helping guide them in their career path. And at this point in my career, really it's about how do we pass this knowledge along and ensure that the next generation is also equally enthusiastic about the opportunities in veterinary medicine.
Drake lives with his wife Hillary in College Station, where he fills his spare time running with the Brazos Runners Club. Drake and Hillary are also proud Aggie parents, with all 3 of their children being Texas A&M alumni.